Hi, friends, and welcome back to the Builder's Brief. These are shorter conversations about just one idea that can help you build a stronger business and become a stronger leader. And today I want to talk about something that completely changed the way that I run my business. It's called the 80-20 rule. You probably have heard of it before, but the basic idea is that a small amount of actions usually create the majority of your results. So in business, that means that a handful of decisions often drive the most of your growth. But the challenge is that most entrepreneurs spend their days doing the opposite. We give our attention to the 80% of tasks that only produce 20% of the results, and then we wonder why we're exhausted and not getting anywhere. I remember a time in my business where I felt busy from the moment I unlocked the doors of my boutique until I went home. I answered emails, I rearranged displays, I unpacked inventory, updated the website, posted on social media, helped customers, balanced the register, cleaned, and by the end of the day, I felt like I worked incredibly hard. But one afternoon, I asked myself a question that honestly made me a little uncomfortable. What did I do today that actually grew the business? And the answer was very little. I had maintained the business, but I hadn't moved it forward. And that realization changed the way that I thought about my time. Here's what I've learned after 10 years in business. Not every task has equal value. Some tasks keep the lights on, others build the future, and both matter, but they're not the same. So think about your own business. What are the few things that truly move everything? Maybe it's building relationships with customers. Maybe it's following up with people who already know you. Or maybe it's creating marketing that consistently tells your story. Maybe it's developing your team or protecting your cash flow. These activities often create far more value than spending another hour organizing a supply closet. One of the biggest mistakes I made early on was believing that because something was urgent, it must also be important. And I've learned those are two very different things. My inbox is urgent. Thinking strategically is important. A customer question feels urgent, but building systems is important. Creating a marketing plan for next month is important, but urgency will always seek your attention first. But growth requires you to protect it. One thing I do now is ask myself one question every morning. If I could accomplish one thing today, what would genuinely move the business forward? What would it be? Not 10 things, not my entire to-do list. Just choose one thing. Sometimes it's recording a podcast like this, and sometimes it's meeting with my team. Sometimes it's reviewing our numbers. Sometimes it's planning our new collection. It may be writing an email to our customers. And these are things that compound over time because businesses rarely grow from doing more. They grow from doing the right things consistently. I've also realized that the 80-20 rule doesn't apply to just tasks. It applies to customers. Often a small percentage of your customers become your biggest advocates. They're the ones that come back, they refer their friends, they leave reviews, and they believe in what you're building. So invest in those relationships. It also applies to products. Usually it's only a handful of products that generate the most of your sales. So know what they are. It applies to marketing. 1 or 2 channels often perform anything else. So stop trying to be everywhere at once. Just be excellent somewhere. And this applies to leadership. Sometimes you're avoiding a difficult conversation and it's holding the entire team back. So making that conversation, having one improvement, it can change everything for your business. One of my biggest lessons in entrepreneurship has been you don't need to do more. You just need to become more intentional. Because being busy, yes, it feels productive, but intentionality is what actually creates progress. And every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So make sure that you choose carefully. Your energy should go to your highest value work because no one can be you in your business. So this week, your builder's challenge is take out a notebook and write down everything you do during a normal workday. Then circle the 3 things that truly moved your business forward. Not the things that simply keep it running, but the things that have actually created growth. And then ask yourself an honest question. Am I spending most of my time on these 3 things? And if the answer is no, you may have just discovered why your business feels stuck. Don't try to change everything. Simply protect more time for the things that matter most. Small changes made consistently can create extraordinary results. Thanks for joining me today for Builder's Brief. And if you love this podcast, please share it with another entrepreneur who might be feeling overwhelmed by an endless to-do list. Maybe they simply need permission to stop trying to do everything. Because at the end of the day, businesses that last aren't built by founders who do the most. They're built by founders who consistently show up. So until next time, keep leading, keep learning, and keep building something worth building. Have a great day.